Well, as you can see, two ladies sitting here, both dressed alike. This is Larissa and me, Ninon, Vegas Live with Ninon. And so you got the email.
I did.
Yeah, good. I sent an email out there. I love it. Of course
I love yours too.
So but you got her lipstick matches her outfit. Mine does not. So you got a couple of points ahead of me. And also her eyes. She's got them all purple as well.
I love makeup and I love purple.
You obviously do, but you look lovely in purple. Amazing.
Thank you.
Now, as you know, I don't pre-interview my guests. Most people say, not most people, but some people say, Nino, you should pre-interview a guest. I said, no, that takes all the fun out of it. Then I can't be spontaneous. What do you do?
I'm a lawyer.
A lady lawyer out there.
Yep.
How's it going?
Been busy. Very busy.
Why?
The type of law that I do.
All right, so, next question. It's like a list. What not? What do you study? Practice.
So I do estate planning.
Estate planning.
So wills
Just
and
do I
trusts.
need. I don't even have a will.
Well, most people now want one because of COVID. So everybody's freaked out.
Oh, so they're all freaked out.
Yep.
Now, I believe a trust. A trust is better.
Yes, it is better.
All right, let me find out. What is the difference between a regular will, right?
Correct.
And a trust? What is the difference? I think there's a tax thing with trust.
Well, the main difference is that with a trust, you have more control over your money when you die, and it avoids
Well, if you're dead,
probate.
you're dead. You can't handle it.
A lot of people
There's
want
something I don't know here. Reincarnation?
Well, it
Jesus.
also avoids probate. So that long process to transfer the assets when you pass away. If you have a trust, your family doesn't have to wait months and months or even years or spend thousands of dollars.
So it's all written out in the will, what everybody gets.
Right.
And why is it called a trust? I've always wanted to know that. To trust me, what I put there.
Well, you have to trust the person that you pick.
So the lawyer who you pick, you should pick a lawyer?
Yeah, and then you pick a person that you trust to handle those assets for your
Oh,
beneficiaries.
so the lawyer writes it up
Correct.
and puts it all together, but then you have to have somebody else that's going to dedicate,
Correct.
read the will,
Correct.
and disperse.
Exactly. So what you do is you basically take your assets and you take them out of your personal name and you put them in your trust, and then you appoint a person to manage those assets if you
And what
become
is that person called?
a trustee, successor trustee
Successor trustee. So you are trustee to the will,
to the trust.
to the trust,
Correct.
which is the will.
Well, the will is a separate document.
Oh,
Yeah, it can get really complicated.
girl. Oh, I thought the trust was... Okay, so you've got the trust, which means all your... I hope you all know what your assets mean. Your assets means your car, your house, your jewelry, your clothing, your business, all...
Correct.
Everything. An asset is what you personally own. And I think that's what you personally own as of a husband and wife. If the wife has died, the husband dies, the wife owns it. So that belongs to that actual person.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just going to make sure everybody knows what. A lot of people don't know.
No, a lot of people don't know.
They
so-
don't know. So
Yeah.
so now we've got the trust going. Now we're in the will. Now will. What's the will? You've
So
already trusted it.
Right. So the will is a document that you create while you're alive, and that says,
Possibly.
who gets your money, pretty much who's going to get your money when you die. But if you have a will, it has to go through probate court, which is a legal process where
They disperse.
they not only disperse, but your creditors have to be paid.
Oh yeah.
It's a long process.
Which is
in
your
order-
credit cards,
Credit cards,
and
medical
house,
bills.
and you've got a lien on your house or whatever you've got out there that needs to be paid.
Right. So the probate process is public, so people can see your death certificate, how you died. They can see all your personal information that's on your death certificate. The only thing that has to be redacted is
So
your
if you
social
want
security.
everything out there after you pass away, which you really don't have to worry about because you're gone anyway, so you don't have to answer to any of those questions. I know I'm making this funny, but it is quite amusing to me. So why would you have to have both?
So the reason a person would have both is that while you're alive, you have to keep your trust funded. So all your assets have to be in your trust. And sometimes people do not keep their trust funded, so they acquire more
What do you mean
assets.
funded?
So your home has to be in the name of your trust. Your bank accounts have to be in the name of your
Also, you have
trust.
to keep it up. So once you've made your trust with everything in there,
You have to continuously keep all your newly acquired assets in the trust.
all your newly acquired assets, your other assets are already in there. Hopefully you haven't forgotten anything.
Right.
And what about a woman when I have to say this, but all women I think do this. What happens to the money that women have hidden and don't want anybody to know where it is? Because women do that. And all their jewellery. She says yes, yeah, well they do. Men don't do this. And then the jewellery, because most men don't have, men do hide.
They hide a lot of money because I used to do divorces.
This gets more complicated. I don't know if it's really good to be alive anymore. This is really complicated. Okay, so men hide.
More money than women.
Wait a second. Hey, girls out there, women out there, ladies out there, whoever you are out there, check up on your husbands. But don't women do that as well?
Some.
Took her a little while to admit that because we're women. We don't want them to know our secrets. But we do have hidden money and we hide our jewelry. Do we have to kind of let somebody know or anybody know where this is hidden and where it is?
That is a good question. You do need to inform somebody of your assets because little do people know, when you pass away, if an individual doesn't know where your life insurance is, your bank accounts, 401k, that money goes into the State Department of Unclaimed Property. So we're in Nevada now. In the Nevada Department of Unclaimed Property, there's currently $950 million sitting there, and most of it is from deceased people.
It's my name.
Who've passed away.
Ninon Rosa.
Yeah. Yeah. So if the money's just sitting there, they turn it over to the state. And if it's unclaimed, nobody knows where your assets are. So the financial institutions
this is something very, very, and
Yeah.
I know this is true because a friend of mine told me this. So if you've got things like I just talked about hidden, and you haven't let anybody, because you don't know who to trust out there, trust, of where these things are, you've got to let somebody know. There's got to be somebody, otherwise it goes to the state and nobody gets it.
Right.
Well, the state gets now. What does the state do with it?
So the state keeps the money in the Unclaimed Property Fund, and after so many years, if it's unclaimed, the state receives the money. So basically, the government will get your money.
And then what
if
do
your
the
heirs
government
can't
do it?
They keep the money. It goes to the state, and they use it for whatever they want.
See? I want to know what happens to it. So this is all very complicated.
Yes, it can be.
It can be very complicated.
It can be complicated.
Now, if you find out, husband or wife or whatever, if you find out they've hidden stuff, how does that kind of work? If they've hidden it, they've hidden it.
Pretty much. Yeah, if they've hidden it, nobody can find
Hidden
it.
means hidden means they can't find it. So it's complicated. So, in your idea of being kind of a perfect way of having a trust and a will, you should have both, right?
Correct. Yes,
You should have a trust and a will. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a trust or just a will.
Yeah, you need both.
You need both.
The reason I'm going to tell you why you need both is that if your assets are not funded in your trust when you pass away and they're under your name individually, then those assets need to be titled to the trust. So your will says basically, when you have a trust, if I pass away and there's any assets in my name, I want it to go to my trust, and then those assets will distribute according to the terms of my trust. And then that's private, because wills are completely private. The whole probate process is private.
Our
so
trust private as
it's
well?
private, yes.
Both private. Well, your trust, but we're both actually your lawyer knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you do a trust by yourself?
I've seen people do that, and I don't recommend it because I've had to clean up messes from those situations, and they've costed like 5 times more than what it would have been to get it done right the first time.
Okay, so the
with the lawyer.
person that is doing the trust and the will has to be considerate to whoever's going to take charge or whoever they want to take charge after they pass away. So they have to consider that person and help rather than being selfish and not letting anybody know. Because most of us don't want anybody to know what we have and what we don't have and all this crazy stuff.
That's true.
And they really don't. It's a private thing. It's an individual thing.
That's true.
So sometimes it's better not to have too much. You don't have to worry about it. What would you advise for a couple getting married and they've both got assets, big, large, and different? What do you suggest they do?
Well, first of all, I do advise people to get prenups, men and women, because in today's day and age, you don't know if it's going to work out. You just don't know.
How long is a prenup valid for?
It's valid until the time of the length of the marriage. So it basically defines.
I thought it was 10 years and that's it.
No, the prenup will define the property rights of each spouse in the marriage. So I do advise people to get prenups if they think you're going to have considerable assets during the marriage. And they also need to have maybe separate trusts so they can designate where they want their assets to go.
Well, I agree with that, because if one dies before the other, which obviously unless they both die together at the same time or whatever,
Right.
which could happen. Someone's going to take charge of something, so they would definitely both need a trust and a will.
Correct.
Okay, and that would also dismantle the prenup, obviously, because the person's passed away. So therefore, the prenup, would that prenup actually go to, if they have children, to their children, of their assets and things that is theirs?
So,
Or to,
so their will and trust will designate who they want their money to go to. So they can say,
regarding the prenup,
no, they can still dispose of their assets however they want.
however they, so
Correct.
the prenup has nothing to do with it.
Correct.
That's yeah, okay.
So you can, even if you're married, you can leave your assets to your children, charity,
Whatever you want.
your boyfriend,
Okay. Prenup
whatever.
has nothing to do with whether you pass away or not, but it has plenty to do with when you divorce.
Correct.
So that's what a prenup is really, anticipation of divorcing. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. You know, you're just getting married and now you're anticipating something happens. Whoops!
You have to nowadays.
And she says it with a smile.
I'm such a lawyer. You have to.
You know,
I see the worst of the
she's
worst.
Right. She's absolutely right.
So
And
be
the
smart about your
reason-
money.
You're going to laugh. I'm going to tell you a story. You want to hear a story about a prenup? Day before I'm getting married, my husband says he wants a prenup. Day before.
That's not good.
I don't care. I said, fine.
And
Went
you're
to the
still
lawyer.
married. You're still married though.
No, he passed away, unfortunately. But I was married for 29 years, yes. And the prenup was dissolved, I think, about 4 or 5 years before he passed away. So I had a prenup for 25 years.
Yeah, so you can
But I didn't care. Didn't make any difference to me.
Yeah.
I was not. He didn't have any money anyway.
you can put a sunset clause in a prenup. So you can
Once the sunset comes in, now the
Right.
now the rising of the sunset. Oh my goodness!
so you can determine when you want it to end, but if you don't put that clause in there, they're
It's for
indefinite.
indefinite. Yeah,
Correct.
But we did that. We actually went to a lawyer, and it was dissolved and it was taken away. But I didn't care about the prenup at all. I was not. He didn't have any money, but I think I had more money than him. I didn't have any money, so it was not a problem. I didn't want a prenup. He wanted a prenup. Didn't matter to me at all. And we ended up actually. We did well. I'll leave it at that. You can all find out. Look up the Rosa family. But it is a problem in this day and age. So your advice, prenup, trust, and will.
Will. Correct. And if you have children, guardianship nominations.
Oh, we've got the children. I forgot about that.
Yep. So you want to get your guardianship nominations if you have children. You want to make sure you choose people that you trust to be the trustee of your trust. And you do want to create what's called a family wealth inventory, where you will let at least one person know what your assets are. So
And all the
that
hidden stuff.
the hidden stuff does need to be disclosed to at least
someone.
one person, so your assets do not get lost in the State Department of Unclaimed Property. Because
That's a Vegas law, by the way. It's not in every state, but that is definitely in Vegas.
Correct.
That I do know. Now, one more question, then I'm going to let you off the hot
Sure.
seat. She's definitely in the hot seat. I don't know if she's in the hot seat or I'm in the hot seat. Maybe we're both in the hot seat.
Yeah.
One more. What happens when you move in, you live together, and you kind of don't get married, and you've got a couple of kids? What happens with this don't get married thing? So you've got two separate people. What happens now?
Okay, so I don't recommend doing that unless
You recommend they should get married?
you should get married or you need to have a will, because I have plenty of cases where fiancés have passed away and Other fiance under Nevada law gets nothing. If you're not married and there's no will, you do not inherit any of your partner's property.
Oh, that's a big one. There's a lot of people in Vegas, well, a lot of people all over the world actually, that live together.
And they don't get married.
And they don't get married. And what happens if one leaves? What happens? That's just a personal thing of one leave. That's kind of a personal thing.
So if one person leaves, there's no protections of the laws, so nothing gets split 50-50. It's kind of like whatever
He said,
you
she
could-
said,
correct.
you got.
Yep.
So that's something that will be between the two of you only, and no, any lawyer in the entire world probably cannot sort that out. Correct?
Correct. In a court
Yeah,
will
I didn't
not.
think so. I don't care where you go, what you do, what you try. Well, I'm going to my lawyer and he'll sort it out. Well, they can't. I know they can't.
You're absolutely right.
See, I just thought of that.
So you can be a lawyer.
Yeah, but don't let me be a divorce lawyer or a will lawyer. It sounds too complicated. I think it's complicated getting married and having children and trying to stay together. Never mind all what. But you really have to think of all these things. I did not think of any of these things, and my husband actually had 6 children. So ours was a little more complicated that I didn't even know about. All I did was sign a prenup, and that was the end of that. I wasn't into that money thing. I never was, and I didn't want that to kind of interfere with my marriage.
Very
Didn't
good.
want that. I just was not to do with money. It was to do with marrying. I mean,
Right.
we none of us had much money. I mean, yeah, we had money, of course, a little bit, but it depends. That's some people it's more than other people. So, how can anybody reach you?
Well, if anybody wants to reach me, they can call my office at 702-258-3034. The law firm is Stovall and Associates. You can also visit our website, which is lesstovall.com, LESST as in Tom, OVALL.com. And I'm always available to give complimentary consultations.
Oh, that's nice.
So I do encourage the audience to reach me with any questions they have on estate planning, probate, or injury work.
What is probate?
That is the process of transferring assets from a deceased person to the living. That goes through court, and when you get a trust, you do avoid probate. So,
Just in case any of you don't know what a probate is. That's it. You have been amazing. This woman, we cannot live without you. From
That's
the
so sweet.
beginning, from the beginning to the end, because you're kind of there with it all.
I like to be.
Well, you are. Would you like to be? She is. She's there with the whole thing. You've got the whole thing, from A to Z. So you've got to get in touch with her. Call her anything you have. Just make a phone call. And she gives a free
We
consultation.
do free consultations,
Yeah.
and we do free lawyer referral services. So if I cannot help you,
You're
I will
referred.
find a lawyer that will.
Do you know a lot? You probably know a lot of
Oh, I
lawyers
know
in
it.
town.
I'm from Vegas, so
She knows all,
I know
all
a
of
lot
them
of
all.
lawyers.
Have you always done law in Vegas?
I've been a lawyer here since 2012.
So, and are you enjoying it?
I love it.
You do?
I love it. I really do.
Complications? No.
It's
Do you
fun.
always-
It's
if
exciting.
if you don't have an answer, you research it.
I research it, I help people, I find out about people's lives, their family dynamics. Every day something new. Sometimes
The
it's
law
like,
changes all the time.
well, sometimes dealing with my clients is like a soap opera or a reality show, and I'm just there
Ooh.
to help.
A new reality show.
Yeah,
Really cool. Can I do the interviewing?
I love it.
Oh, we could do a whole thing on this.
That would be great.
There's a new show out there. Hey, Maria. Maria's telling me, Ninon, come on, Ninon, wind up the show. Oh, we'll get her back. Of course she's coming back. We've got to learn more about this. We just touched the surface. This is just the surface. Believe me. That's why there's so many divorces out there. But don't think of all the divorces. There's a lot of very, very successful marriages
Yes.
out there, and God bless them all. And they've all go through their trials and tribulations. Marriage is something you work on. It just doesn't happen. Not everybody comes in, hi, darling, how are you? Might come in and say, oh, I've had a terrible day, don't talk to me.
Trust me, I know about that.
Cool, I think I just brought up a bad subject. Well, on that subject, I'm going to close out then. I don't bring up any more bad ones. Thank you for watching Vegas Live with Ninon. As you know, we interview all sorts of different people, and we learn about different things and how they are, what they are. I learn every single interview I have is different, and I learn on every interview what goes on, what happens. Even in the music industry, do you put one record out, or do you put 15 CDs? I don't know. It's all different. Don't forget to go to YouTube and subscribe and join. My new word is join. And I'll be right back with my next guest. Take care.